What's going on, horror gang? Welcome to our Shot 'em 6 Times YouTube horror movie channel. As you know, I'm your host Marcus. Be sure to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel, as well as hit that notification icon to get all of these content updates to the channel. In this video of A Tale of the Forgotten Part 2, I'm going to discuss why I believe Stu Macher is a mastermind in his new Scream trilogy. Before I do that, let's hit that intro. I shot him 6 times! Alright gang, so A Tale of the Forgotten Part 2. In this video, I'm going to give you 5 reasons why I believe Stu Macher is alive in this new Scream trilogy, as well as how this all came about, how could he be alive, as well as what would his motive be. If you watch some of my videos on the channel, then you already know that I believe Stu Macher is alive. There's a lot of fans out there who agree with me, and there's some fans out there who don't agree with me, and the ones who do agree that Stu Macher is alive. And in this video, I'm going to share with you my theories and opinions, why I believe such. And for those of you out there who do not believe Stu is alive, maybe, just maybe, my opinions and theories might just change your mind. So, let's get into it. Number 5, the opening scene. Now, when Scream 5 initially came out, I made a video stating that I felt that it was Stu Macher who initially attacked Tara Carpenter in the opening scene, not Richie Kurtz, being that when Dewey was giving Samantha the rundown of the rules and basically accusing Richie of being involved, Richie had stated he was in Modesto the night that Tara was attacked, and Sam did not deny these claims, which prompted me to believe, because we obviously know it was a man who was attacking Tara, that it was Stu Macher. Now, after the digital and the Blu-ray came out, Jack Quaid, who played Richie, confirmed that it was him underneath the Ghostface costume attacking Tara in the opening scene. But I do want us to keep in mind that that doesn't 100% mean he was portraying the character of Richie. He could have easily been playing a stunt double in that instance. So that's something to keep in mind as well. But the main reason I believe Stu Macher is still involved in this opening scene is the dialogue. When the killer is talking to Tara, there's 3 things that stood out to me. Number 1, the conversation about elevated horror. Stu is old school, so all this new genre of horror, of elevated horror, spiritual, he wouldn't understand and most likely would not like that, which is why you heard the disdain in the comment of, isn't that a little fancy pants, when Tara says that her favorite movie is The Babadook and explains the meaning of elevated horror. Number 2, for me, would be when Tara is being asked about who is the killers in Stab, the original killers in Stab, and she obviously only mentions Billy Loomis instead of mentioning both Billy Loomis and Stu Macher. The killer obviously gets very, very irritated and angry and proceeds to say, no, you got it wrong. It was Billy Loomis and Stu Macher. And just the tone that the killer was speaking in Tara when that happened, when she got that question wrong, easily screams out that that was Stu Macher, because why wouldn't that be? He's pissed off that people keep forgetting about it. But number 3, and this is my biggest reason why in this opening scene I believe Stu Macher is involved, was the dialogue about Casey Becker. How the killer referred to who is that dumb bitch in the opening scene of Stab 1 who answers the phone and gets carved up by the killer. Why I think that's important is because we know Stu and Casey had a history. They dated in Stu's terms for all but 2 seconds before, as Randy revealed, Casey left Stu for Steve. And even though Tatum thought that Stu left Casey for her, that turned out to not be true, etc., etc. So obviously, after all these years, Stu still has some type of disdain towards Casey Becker, which is why you got that type of dialogue towards that character. There would be no reason for Richie nor Amber to speak in that manner about Casey Becker and refer to her as a dumb bitch, etc. That would have to take somebody who knows her personally and who has a grudge against her, in my opinion. Number 4, Stu Macher is never referred to as dead, as well as he is spoken in the present tense. Now, I went back and Scream 2, 3, 4, and obviously 5, to see if there was any mention of Stu Macher being dead, etc. Not once did he ever refer to as this man being actually dead. Never gave details about after 96, what, did the TV actually kill him? And we're going to actually touch on that here later. But there was no real clarification. Was he actually dead? We got the clarification that Billy was dead for sure, as you obviously see in the hallucinations of Scream 5, as well as in Scream 2, when Cindy tells Mickey, there's one thing you forgot about Billy Loomis, I fucking killed him. Now, another thing is, listen to Dewey's dialogue in Scream 5 at the Meeks house when asked who is Stu Macher. He said, he's Billy Loomis's accomplice, not he was. Present tense, not past. Number 3, the Scream 3 return that was scrapped. If you're a fan of this franchise, then you know it's well documented that Kevin Williamson wanted to bring Stu Macher's character back in Scream 3 as this mastermind, Ghostface killer who's operating from whatever lockup facility he's at, running a whole cult of Ghostface killers going after Cindy Prescott. We did not get this script for the simple fact of the events of Columbine High School. Once Columbine High School events happened, the studio did not want anything that mirrored that type of, violence in their movie. So they made Kevin change the script. And this is why we got the Scream 3 that we got. Some people loved it. Some people hated it. I personally, I'm 50-50 on it. I thought it was okay. Thought it could have done better. But the most important thing, guys, is think about this. If Kevin Williamson was going to bring this character back in Scream 3, then that means that this character is alive in the Scream universe. And I mean as a whole, because it's not like this new Scream trilogy is following in a whole new universe. No, it all ties back to the original, especially with Sam Carpenter being Billy Loomis's daughter. So, if Kevin Williamson's idea was to bring Stu Macher back in Scream 3, that single-handedly shuts down the idea of him being dead, and it's not far-fetched that if it's done right, we could see him return in this new Scream trilogy as well. Number 2, the TV, and why it may not have killed him the way we think. Now, I want to give a special shout out to YouTuber Jeremy Channel for running this piece of information by me in the comment section of my previous video of why I believe it was Stu Macher who killed Dewey Riley and not Amber in the hospital scene. And Jeremy went on to clue me in on some very interesting, information about the TV and the model that was used to be dropped on Stu Macher's head in 1996. And Jeremy went on to tell me that a study was done on that model TV. A study was done that if it was dropped on somebody's head, the chance of survival rate and the chance of death rate. And it was concluded that there was only a 1% chance of death, that someone would die from that model, that exact same model TV, the one you see in Scream 1996, that quote-unquote killed Stu Macher, that this model TV, if it is dropped on your head, you have a 99.9% chance of living because the death rate is only at 1%. You heard it. If that TV were to drop on your head, it was determined that 99.9% chance you are living from that TV falling on your head. Which is, in my opinion, further evidence that the TV did not kill Stu Macher the way we think. Yes, did he get a little bit electrocuted afterwards from the TV falling on him? Absolutely. But that does not 100% mean that he died from the shock of the TV or the overall weight from the TV dropping on his head. And I think the fact that a study was done on this model TV proving that only 1% chance of death rate, furthermore even proves that Stu Macher could have survived that TV falling on his head in the final act scene of Scream 1996. Number 1, Dewey's death scene. Stu killed Dewey. Now, if you had watched my previous video about how I believe it was not Amber Freeman who killed Dewey Riley in the hospital, then you already have an idea on why I believe Stu Macher is the one who did kill Dewey Riley. But for those who haven't seen that video, or for those who don't believe that Stu is alive or was in the hospital scene, I'm going to give you some reasonings why that is true, that it was Stu. Now, the biggest thing is, a lot of people have commented on my video for the hospital scene, a lot of people felt offended that I don't think a girl could, commit such, have such strength to commit, the gutting scene of Dewey. Well, the reason why I don't believe such is because when Dewey's being attacked initially, the killer is on top of him with both hands on the knife, pressing down, trying to stab him, and Dewey still overpowers him. Let's go with the premise that is Amber. You mean to tell me that if Amber couldn't sit there with both hands on the knife, full force coming down, if she couldn't overpower Dewey then, you mean to tell me that girl has enough strength to stick the knife in his groin and gut him all the way up to the sternum, as well as sticking another knife in his back and gutting up on that as well? I'm sorry, I'm just not buying it, you guys. I just do not think, if that girl was really under that ghost face mask, I don't think, if you do not have enough strength with both hands on the knife coming down full weight to stab this man and overpower him, then I don't believe you have enough strength and power to gut him up from groin to sternum to the point where he's almost off of the ground. His feet is almost dangling off the ground. I'm just not buying it. But the most important reasons why I believe Stu is the one who killed Dewey Riley is, one, the dialogue. Yes, today it is so symbolic because, as we know, Stu is the one who stuck the knife in Dewey's back in 96, but obviously he didn't finish the job. By him saying yes today in response to Dewey saying not today when the killer previously tried to kill him, it's symbolic because it's like as if Stu is saying, yes, today, I didn't get you in 96, but today is the day I finished the job and I finally kill you, and your story is now over. As well as the simple fact that if you go back and Scream 96, when the whole gang is sitting by the fountain, etc., outside the school, Stu tells you how you gut somebody. Not a happy coincidence. It was Stu Macher who killed Dewey Riley, and he finished a job that should have been finished in Scream 1996. Okay, so that was my 5 reasons why I believe Stu Macher is alive. Now we're going to talk about how is he alive with no mention, as well as what would be his motive to return as a mastermind. Well, I think this is all quite simple, a lot more simpler than what people think. So let's start off with how is he alive with no mention at all. Honestly, that's so easy to figure out. Think about it. As you can tell by the, his setting where he was living, etc., it's no secret that Stu Macher's parents has money. So it would not be far-fetched to believe that after the events of Scream 1996, if Stu is alive, it is not far-fetched to believe that the family had his record sealed to where nobody knew about it. They had the money, they had the means. You can pay for your records to get sealed. And that is not far-fetched to believe that his parents did such. They obviously sent him off to a jail or a mental facility. They didn't want nobody knowing that he was alive, so they paid their hard-earned money to ensure that his records got sealed. Kind of like an homage to Halloween 2, when Nurse Marion brings up to Dr. Loomis about Laurie Strode's records being sealed from him and being kept from him from the report on Michael Myers. Kind of the same thing. So it's not far-fetched to believe that this family that has a lot of money decided, we don't want nobody knowing that he's alive. We're going to pay to have all his records sealed. He is basically, ironically, a ghost. That's my belief as to why we get no mention of Stu Macher being alive, is because his family paid for his records to be concealed. Now, what would be his motivation to come back as a mastermind? That's simple as well. Not only is it to finish the job with Sam, as I believe, as I stated in my part 1 of A Tale of Forgotten, that Sam is a mastermind with Stu, it's to finish the job from Scream 1996, as well as partaking in the sequels that was set out by him and Billy. They both wanted to make it to the sequels. But most importantly, guys, is the fact that he's been forgotten. He has been forgotten. Nobody mentions Stu Macher everybody forgets as if he was involved. They only give the credit to Billy Loomis. And if you can't tell by that opening scene dialogue with Tara, when she even doesn't mention Stu and the killer has to remind her about Stu, he was pissed. This is why I believe Stu is coming back as a mastermind to get back at those who have forgotten about him, as well as finish the job that him and Billy set out in 1996. Alright gang, but that is it for this video of Tale of the Forgotten Part 2. Why Stu Macher is alive and why he is a mastermind in this new Scream trilogy. If you like this type of content, if you like horror movie content, etc., please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. Your support is greatly appreciated. This is I Shot Him 6 Times YouTube horror movie channel. I'm your host Marcus. Be sure to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as well. Thank you for watching.